Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Mireille Thériault. I go by Mireille Nicole in my relationship coaching practice. And I am so excited to have the amazing
Yeah.
Jillian Berry on my channel today to talk all
Woohoo.
about relationships and diet, nutrition, a healthy lifestyle. And it's funny because I was watching, well, I watched pretty much all of Jillian's videos. And lately there'd been mention in her videos about, relationships. And I was like, I need to get Jillian on my channel here to talk about how that plays into one another. I think it's such a huge topic. And I even think I'll be curious to know your opinion as we go along, Jillian. Like, I feel like a lot of times that can be a barrier for people to even start their health journey or their raw vegan lifestyle journey, wherever they are on that nutrition spectrum, right? So I'm
Yeah.
really looking forward to our conversation. And I'll get you to start us off by letting us know, tell us a bit about, your health journey, what you
Yeah.
do now, and what your relationship status is.
Sure. And I just want to say I'm absolutely not a relationship expert because we did go through, my husband and I did go through a separation a few years ago and it was pretty bad, but we are back together now. And I'm just real and honest. So I'll definitely share that. But things are going great now. And I think I have a great perspective because we have totally different lifestyles and diets. And we're
Perfect.
trying to make that work. So I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that, especially if people are trying to go raw or vegan or eat a certain way and then their partner doesn't. But yeah, my health journey really started when my first daughter was born 10 years ago. I ran into so many health problems. I had major digestive problems. I was either constipated or having diarrhea. Sorry to give too much information. And then it got to the point where there was even blood in my stool. I was tired all the time. I was having major panic attacks that were sending me to the hospital regularly. And I just didn't feel great. I had what's it called? Blood sugar problems. So I had, I forget, anyway, major blood sugar problems and just so many things that were sending me to the hospital. And then I was going to all these doctors and nobody could figure out what was wrong. Anyway, it was hypoglycemia. I forgot the name of what I had with the blood sugar. But, and then around the 18th doctor, this one doctor was like, maybe you have celiac. So I was thinking, okay, what's celiac? I went home right away, Googled it, and I was like, okay, it's basically like a severe autoimmune allergy to gluten. And I removed gluten from my diet. And keep in mind, I probably had gluten every single day for decades, like all the time, constantly eating gluten because I was just like a bread addict, a bagel addict, everything you can think of, pasta. And so this was probably the first day I hadn't had it in like maybe my life or since I was like a child. And I felt incredible. So it was crazy. Within like 24 hours of removing the gluten, all this brain fog that I didn't even know I had gone away. And I felt so much happier. And what's interesting is I've read studies since then saying there's a huge difference on people's like depression and moods with gluten. But I think it's like the sprays they use, the glyphosate and stuff. I don't think it's necessarily the gluten. But anyway, that's just up for debate right there. But removing that just gave me a whole new life. Literally, it was shocking. So it was then on that my health journey really started. So I guess that would have been around like 7 years ago. And then I was trying to get healthier and healthier. I removed dairy from my diet, and that was a big difference too with improvements and stuff. So I was like, okay, if these things are doing this, like I started analyzing everything I eat. And then for about a year, every day I would just study everything. Like, what do blueberries do to you? What do this do? And then one night, just around 6 years ago, just over 6 years ago, I was reading but something by Dr. Sebi about the raw living foods and how they have the enzymes. They're so healing and easy to digest and have so many benefits. And I thought, how have I never heard of this in my life? So I guess I was about 33 at the time. And I was like, how have I never heard of this raw living foods lifestyle? So the next day I decided to try it. And by the afternoon, I was just like, this is freaking crazy. I feel like myself for the first time in my entire life. For the first time in like 33 years, I feel like myself. And I felt so good on only the raw foods. Like it was the biggest transformation I'd ever seen, like mentally and like just everything. And then through everything like cleared up, all my health problems went away. And I just found so many things I didn't even know possible, like energy levels that I didn't even know were possible. The last few years, my kids have not slept at all. And I still like function, do like 5 videos a day and like have so much energy. And that's my favorite part of it. And I've just found I just am more loving and compassionate. I'm not saying like I'm never like the opposite of that. We are human beings and we have like different emotions. So I do still get angry and experience all those things. It's not just like a recipe for like, it's like you're in heaven and everything's perfect. You still do experience like dark things too. But it's been amazing. It's just been the best thing to ever happen to me. And I've been hooked ever since. So I started my YouTube channel last year about this because I'm just so passionate about it. And I feel like I'm rambling. I don't know if you want to ask me something next, but Yeah, so then we moved to Costa Rica. We sold everything to move to Costa Rica in
Yeah.
2019. I guess it was early 2019 we moved there. And so we had like 10 suitcases moving around the world with our kids and stuff. And it was kind of stressful. And it was great because you're in the tropics and it suits my raw lifestyle. It's so amazing, but it was also very stressful. And so then when we came back for a month to visit family, my husband and I ended up separating and we were apart for a couple years. And yeah, so I don't know what you want to ask. I have so much to say about the relationship and diet stuff, but I'm
Yeah.
going on and on. So go ahead.
All good. No, that was all super interesting. And I just wanted to go back on a few points actually. Well, one of the things that's popping up in my head right now is when you were talking about the gluten and you were like, oh, I'm not sure if it's actually that or just what was sprayed on it. But I've been hearing a lot of stories about people going to Europe and they're able to have the pastas and the bread and they feel fine and they come back to North America, where I think in Europe in some places it's banned or whatnot. So
Yeah.
this interesting connection that, anyways, we won't go down that rabbit hole today. But also, just so to clarify, so you started on this journey after, I guess you were talking about was it your first daughter? So you would have been in your
Yeah. After my
relationship with
first
your
daughter
husband?
in
Okay.
2016. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And one of the things that I find interesting was when you were talking about your panic attacks, because I know that's something I struggled with in the past. Just going vegan actually completely changed that for me. And not even when I started the raw stuff. And I know that was a big factor for me in my relationship, having those panic attacks, being very stressful on myself and also on my partner at the time. And that was even before I met my current husband. So just like navigating these health issues, how was that? What did that look like in your relationship, these health issues that you were struggling with?
Yeah. Well, my partner, my husband, Ed, he was very supportive. He's very supportive, calm, and patient. If something's happening and it's very serious, like a medical thing or something, like I am not the most calm. I kind of can be, right? Like, oh my gosh. And he's very calm, like probably the most calm you can get. And he was very supportive. And it was hard because like I had a lot of health problems for a while and he was always supporting me and always supporting what journey I was on. Because for a while I read the blood type O or the blood type book, like the blood type diet book.
Yeah.
And I'm blood type O. So it's like it entails like they say what's best for you is a heavy meat diet. So I tried that for a while. He was along by my side through every different lifestyle I tried. And it didn't work for me. I wasn't thriving on it. And then nothing has worked like the raw foods for me, but I'm also not dogmatic about it. I think like it works
Yeah.
for me. I'm not saying it works for everybody else at all. But yeah, always been so supportive of my lifestyle. He's never judged it or anything. Thankfully, I'm really grateful for that because I think it would be very difficult if he was like, this is bogus. This is silly. What are you doing? I think too, because he saw like how much it changed me. Even by the
Wow.
first day I was raw, he was like, whoa, like I can notice a difference in you, even by the end of the first day at dinner.
Wow. So he didn't have any trepidation in terms of you transitioning over to this kind of
No,
lifestyle and eating and what that would mean for him too, right? Like, did he feel
no.
that pressure that he would all of a sudden have to change his diet to accommodate, your preference?
Yeah, no, he saw that I literally came to life on it. And I did. I feel like there was life before raw living foods for me, and there's life after. Of course, my life still mattered before and had purpose. Like, obviously, like I was here for a reason. But it's just like there was life before and life now. And so I think that's why he's been so supportive too, because he has seen the change for himself. But I'm not saying I'm perfect too. Like, we have our moments and stuff like that. But yeah, it did impact the relationship because we used to drink together every night. So I drank every night for at
Mhm.
least like 10 years with him. We would have wine, beer. We would go out a lot. Like I would live for that. Like we would go out on date nights and we would go to the Keg in Toronto here, a steakhouse in King West all the time and get dressed up, go have steak and wine, and then sometimes book a hotel and go partying. And like, especially if he'd be away working for a while, then we'd like go have like all out date nights or date weekends. And like that was our thing. And we really connected with that, right? Like, so when we would sit every night, like we really connected, even though we were on the alcohol and not really like, I don't know, we connected. So that sort of changed like after I got really healthy. After I went raw, it just changed. Like it changed. And I don't even know if I realized at the time that it changed. And I think that might have been part of the reason that started some of our problems and why we did split up because we just lost that connection. I was in my world, like studying raw foods and like doing this raw food thing. And then like he was wanting to sit and have a beer and chill at night, which I get. I'm not judging him for it, but it was just we became in different worlds. And I think that started some problems and we started having some problems. And then we didn't even, I think maybe I realized that it was that. Looking back, I do think like, had I not switched lifestyles, we wouldn't have split up, I don't think. And I think we would have just stayed and like,
Interesting.
So anyway, yeah, we split up after some turmoil traveling the world with our kids. It was just too much for me. We split up and then we spent a couple years apart and but I do still love him. So we realized so like we still have a connection and we love each other so much. So we did reconcile this year. I forget when. It's been like 4 months or 5 months, 6 months, I don't know. And so we've moved back in together and we're really trying to work on our relationship and there is so much love there and I think I we both really realize that by being apart, even though we have different lifestyles, like we do both really love each other and we have a family together. And there's nothing more important to the both of us than our family together. I grew up without my parents together and I know it was the best situation for them. But even still now, I say, like, oh, I even say to my mom, or like, I say, like, I wish my parents had stayed together because I feel like my dad's in Florida and he's great. I love him and my mom is here in Canada, but I just feel like I would be so much closer to both of them if they had stayed together. I really think that. And I'm close to them, don't get me wrong, but it's just I just so we're really trying to make it work for that reason, but not just that reason. We do still love each other and we have like a physical connection and a mental connection, and so that's where we're at.
I love that you shared that because I work a lot with women, like a big part of my story too. And my why for what I started doing what I do is that with my current husband, yeah, we went through a phase where it was really, really hard for us. And, this was someone I was really passionate about and I felt that physical attraction. I knew he was my person. And it's through working through it, right, that we're still together. And so I'm happy you shared that. That's so I feel like a lot of women can resonate with that too. And it's just a really interesting story. There are a few things I resonate with when you're talking about your relationship too. I was kind of lucky, I feel like, with my husband. So he had gone out with friends and one of his friends had become vegan and he told my husband to watch the movie Game Changers. So he knew like I was all interested in health and stuff, but I wasn't like, I guess I was kind of like the standard healthy person. Like I don't even
Yeah.
know how to describe it, but not like the level that I'm interested in now. And so we watched the movie together. And after the movie, we were both like, okay, plant-based all the way. And
Wow.
that's been our journey ever since. I have to say, I'm a bit more hardcore with it, but he's totally on board. He'll be a bit less dogmatic than I am, but like he'll be super happy to eat all the food I cook and or not
Yeah.
cook, right?
Yeah.
But if we still go out, we like to go out, and unfortunately, we're not as lucky as you in Toronto or the people in Montreal or big cities where we have a lot of like raw food restaurant options. But yeah, sometimes we will go out, and even the drinking is a big part, right? I find like I resonated with that. We're not completely out of that at this
Yeah.
point because it's such a big point of connection with us, and I feel like we haven't really
Yeah.
found. I don't know if there is a replacement for that at all.
Yeah.
Or
I
I mean, you
know.
guys have found other connections too, right? But when you said that, I was like, oh, that's so interesting. And I'm sure other women out there can relate too, right? That date night with your nice glass of red wine.
Yeah. And it's not the same without it. It is different,
Yeah.
especially when it's like one does that like he does and I don't. It does make it different. There was one night this year where I did have a glass of wine. So I quit drinking. It's been years, right? I really quit drinking like 6 years ago when I went raw. In 2019 or 2020, I had some wine and I just felt gross. And I was like, oh, and there was one night with him this year. I did do it and it was kind of nice, but then I was like, oh, it's like but I see why people do it, right? It's like you get that connection. But
Yeah.
it's great. Like we are blessed. We have a great raw food restaurant here, Raw Aura, and he goes there with me and their food is so good, even if you're not vegan, because he's not vegan and he still loves it. And one of my subscribers had a great idea. They're like one night, I don't know if I would do it though, but they're like one night a week, you should do his diet. And then one night a week, he does yours. I'm not going to eat meat though, but I'm saying like we could go out and have like go to a restaurant he wants and have like a cooked, like whatever. I don't know if I would do that, but I was saying to him yesterday, we do have to find ways to connect more because especially when you have kids, it's all about I work on my channel all day or like other stuff and he works all day and then it's the kids and then like you have to prioritize that. So that's where we're at.
Yeah. I feel like one of the questions I was going to ask is, do you believe you can be successful at a raw vegan diet and in your relationship? I feel like you're demonstrating that where we're working through that aspect. So, but I feel like you were saying, we got to kind of respect the other person. And I know
Yeah.
for myself, same thing, right? Like I feel like now at first he was really on board with vegan and I've been transitioning more and more vegan. But now he's kind of down his own health rabbit hole and finding other types of diet and a bit exploring for himself. But we're just, finding that connection. And there's
Yeah.
a way to make it work and
And
other.
even though he's not vegan, like I don't judge him for eating the animal products because I used to do that and I wasn't vegan. And so why would I judge that? And what's great is though he is like more inspired with health, I feel like around me for sure, and does eat a lot of the healthier foods. Like he's happy for me to make him a salad, but I'll add
Yeah.
quinoa to his salad. So I'll make a big raw salad and add olives and quinoa and like a nice dressing for him. It's hard for him to get into like the homemade dressings that I make, but there's nice like raw vegan dressings you can buy at the stores now that are like suitable for people who are like not all on board with the raw food, but they want to get healthier. And so he eats those and he tries a lot of my meals and likes them. And he drinks like I'm always drinking juices or coconut water. This is coconut water. And so he drinks like a lot more of that stuff and has like a lot more of the types of foods that he would if he wasn't with me too, you know? And I feel like it's more inspiring just for him to see like all the energy I have and maybe sample some of those things rather than me being like, you shouldn't do this. Like, I'm not like that at all. I wouldn't do that. Everybody's on their own path, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm curious to see even if he's seen benefits. I know, like with my husband, since we started doing this, and as I get, more and more raw, he notices the benefits for himself. And actually, we were talking about connection a bit earlier. That's something we've connected on, right? Like we're very active. We like to mountain bike. We like to do all sorts of sports. And even just from making all these tweaks to our diet, we notice like our recovery is faster and we feel, and like, I mean, we're getting older and we're like, how come we feel so young and like have so much
Yeah.
stamina still? And like, we've been seeing a lot of benefits. So what are some of the benefits too? So even from that connection standpoint, like you were saying earlier too, in terms of like your mood and just
Yeah.
happiness, and that also plays an impact on our relationship, right? How we show up for our
Yeah.
partner. What are some, do you want to maybe
I would
dig in
say
a
there's a
little bit
lot of
deeper?
benefits. And I would say he even said the other day, he even says, like, and he's never been one to judge my looks and he didn't in the past, but he will say now, like, you're better looking at 40 and you have a better body now at 40 than you did at 20. And we've been together since I was 17. So he's been with me
Oh,
since I was like young and he's like, you're like better looking. And he never said I wasn't good looking. It's not like that, but he's like trying to say, like, so he definitely says that. And I would say my skin is amazing. It's amazing raw. And I know somebody commented on my channel the other day, well, let's see you without makeup. A lot of times I wear no makeup too. I like to wear makeup in interviews. It's just how I am. I'm super professional and it's just like how I am. But even without makeup, my skin is like so good raw. So it does still break out. I notice I get a zit if I ovulate or if I'm near my period. I always know when I'm like ovulating or near my period. But, yeah, and the sleep has been amazing. The energy, the whites in my eyes are whiter, and I'm more loving and compassionate and less angry, but I do still get angry, so I'm not saying that. But, like, things with, like, road rage and stuff like that, I'm, like, happy to be in the car listening to music, and I enjoy life a little bit more with certain things, like listening to music and, like, stuff like that, and, yeah, my energy, that's the main thing. My energy is just absolutely through the roof, and I feel great.
yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
It's such a big, yeah, like all these effects we feel from the diet will automatically translate to the relationship just because when whatever comes up, right? Like I'm like you, I still get obviously upset, but I do find I can take myself out of things a lot better, a lot faster too. And my partner feels the effect of that too, right? He feels the
Yeah.
effects of that too. So that is amazing. I'm gonna look to see, right? Okay, one thing I wanted to ask you actually is what is some advice that you can share with women who want to start this lifestyle, but who
Yeah.
are worried their partner won't be on board with it? And I know you've had some interviews when you were talking to some people, I think, who are dating or maybe single, and it seems to be a criteria, right? For some people, like they want to
Yeah.
find someone more in their lifestyle, on the same lifestyle as them.
Which I
Obviously,
can get.
it's easier,
I
but
can totally understand that. I mean, in an
yeah,
ideal world, it would be awesome if both you on their same lifestyle. I think it's way easier that way. And I think that is like ideal and amazing if people have that. I see people like Nate and Lissa who have that, or Marcus and Kara,
yeah,
or like the opposite diet, and people have it. And I think that is amazing for them, you know? But I would say like some advice would be not to like push your partner or any of your family to do it, especially as you start. Like, don't try and change them at all. Or like, as humans, when we try and like tell people to do something, it kind of makes them not want to do it, I feel like. So like, don't push it on them and like just focus on you and just say like, hopefully you can support. I've seen like some inspiring stories on this. I want to try and see if it can work for me. It might be temporary or it might not. Let's just see. And maybe say like lots of people have like totally transformed on it. Let's just see if it works for me. And then like maybe get like a 30-day program or a program and try it out and then see and just prioritize yourself. Like just say, I'm going to put myself first just to see if this might work for me and commit to like 30 days. And then maybe just don't put yourself in situations where you might be tempted to like drink and go back to the other lifestyle if this is something you want to try. And just, yeah, make it, I mean, put yourself first for that month. And then hopefully your partner can support you. And if they can't, then maybe there's a problem there, right? I mean, I feel like it's not a bad thing you're trying to do. So hopefully they can support that.
Yeah, and even like you were saying from a confidence perspective, that's something that can come up a lot in relationships too. And just like the stories you were sharing about your husband saying, "My gosh, you look like even younger, than before, or better than
Yeah.
before. Your skin's nicer than before." Right? A lot of times we struggle with our appearance, and by putting ourselves first with our lifestyle and our nutrition, we can increase our confidence too. And again, that's going to have a wonderful effect in our relationship too, for ourselves
Yeah.
first, and then also in our romantic relationships. So I am sure people watching this right now are falling in love with you, just like
Oh,
I did when I
thanks.
started
I love
watching
you
your
too.
videos.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. So if you want to maybe let the viewers know where they can connect with you, where they can follow you, let them know how they can stay in touch.
Yeah, absolutely. So the main place is my YouTube channel. I post on there all the time, usually about every other day or at least 2 to 3 times a week. And I do a lot of interviews, a lot of what I eat in a day videos, many just whatever's inspiring me. And I'm just such an inspired person now. So my YouTube channel under Jillian Berry, Berry. That's the name I was born with. So I feel like it's all meant to be. And I'm on Instagram under underscore Jillian Berry as well. And yeah, I don't know when this interview is going to be out, but I have something else that's coming out. I'm so excited. The plant-based bundle, which
Yeah.
will be on my channel for like, but it'll be out from the November 18th to the 28th. So you'll probably post it before then, but there's that as well. But yeah, that's everything.
Okay, so then they definitely need to connect with you to stay tuned for
Yeah,
when that launches.
for
Yeah.
sure.
And I'll put some links in the description and stuff so that people can go connect with you directly and look out for that. I'm excited to see what that's going to be all about. So,
Yeah, because I just did a juice cleanse, right? I just did a 2 week
yeah.
juice cleanse. I was dealing with something and I did a 2 week juice cleanse. I totally got rid of it by the third day. And I felt like, oh
Wow.
my God, it was such a life-changing experience. And then I did another 10-day. So I was like, you know what? I've done 37 days before too. So I wrote like a beginner's guide to how to do a juice cleanse for the plant-based bundle and like my recipes and all these other things. But the bundle's great because it has like the works of over 100 creators and it's like $50 and it's worth $4,000. So it's like, I don't ever promote anything on my channel, but this I'm just like, I believe in it so much. It's crazy. So that's why I did that. And yeah, the juice cleanse though, that was just like the most mental clarity I've ever had my whole life. Your mind goes so clear. By like the third or fourth day, I just had the clearest mind. It was like I was meditating all the time. And I was just like, that was my favorite part. And going to bed at night, just the stillness in the night, like I just felt so connected to the universe. And the dreams I would have were like so like messages and like so vivid. It was just an awesome experience. And the energy was even higher than on raw foods with juice.
Well, that leads me to another question actually before we finish off, because I'm curious to know. I've gotten my husband to do juice cleanses with me, even a water fast for a little while. Have you ever gotten your husband to do that with you?
No, but you know what? I say that. That is one thing I say. I try not to push anything on him and I'm never like, you should go raw. But a couple times I have said, like, you should try juice cleanse because I know like he travels for work too. And like they do not eat the best. I know a lot of times they go out to eat with like the business guys and he goes through drive-throughs and it is just like I know a juice cleanse, if he could stick to it, I was like, you would see how it feels to like feel the best you've ever felt in your life. But he's always like, oh, I know if anything happens to me, you can help me fix it. And that's like his plan. If something happens, I think that's how a lot of people are though. Well, if something
Yeah.
happens, right? That's like me. It led me to health when I had those problems. But so I'm right here ready with my new juicer, with my new Nama juicer with the juice kit, ready to help him if anything happens. Yeah, that's where we're at.
That's hilarious. That's awesome.
But he
Yeah.
does drink a lot of juice. Like I said, he drinks
Okay.
a lot of my juices, green juices too, and he enjoys them. I just will he'll be working and I'll just every time I make juice, I give him a juice and then he's like, thanks, and he drinks it.
Yeah, I think that in itself is pretty awesome. So
Yeah.
we'll give our men that for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much again for being on my channel. It was so great talking to you. I loved every second of it, and I hope we'll chat again soon.
Yeah, we will for sure. I'll come back. I would love to.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Bye guys.
Bye.